Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to be able to speak to you today. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Maybe just kick off with a brief introduction to this incredible documentary, Once Upon a Time in Uganda. What can people expect when they watch it?
Oh, yeah, people watching that documentary, I think they should expect to see how things are done at Hollywood. And they should also, I mean, especially young filmmakers, it is an inspiration because many filmmakers have been, scared of, budgets, scared of, starting, I mean, we don't have a good script, but we have a story, something like that. You can start with your story. Things come, flow as you're working. So there is that inspiration and also improvisation, which solves the problem of the budget and other stuff.
And obviously, you've been doing this a long time. But what sparked the initial idea to make a documentary about what you're doing? And when did that first sort of come about? And how long a period was this documentary made over?
Yeah, I don't know what, but I think it is because I mean, I'm not the producer of the documentary. It's just they came here and then they said, oh, we want to make a documentary about Wakaliwood. And then I said, okay, it's okay for us. It's okay. We have many people coming. I mean, it's okay if you feel like it's okay. So that is how, I mean, they came in. But it has been like 4 years. They made it for 4 years, I think. 4 years. That documentary is the 4 years. So they have a lot of footage. So if you see 60 minutes or 90, I think they need to release more footage than the 60 minutes or 90 minutes.
And, what has it meant to you, like going through that process? And I guess when someone's filming you, making a documentary, you don't know exactly how they're going to edit it, what kind of narrative might come out the end of it. When you finally saw the finished film, what was your feeling about it all?
Yeah, for me, it is as a storyteller, I know that storytellers always need to follow, because especially those ones from the West, they need to follow the rules of telling a story. That there's a beginning, and then we need an antagonist, and then something like that, and then a protagonist, and something like the three acts of a story. I know that, so they had to find a way, of doing it, and I think they got it the way they did it. For me, it is okay with the story. But I would say that the process was a little bit, tiresome, in that sometimes you feel like, because we're always mic'd, and then you are in a toilet or something, and you want to ease yourself, and then you remember that, oh, someone is spying on you. So such things were not good for us as a family. Sometimes we want to be secretive, and then someone is always spying on you. Oh, so anyway, that is how I felt, a little bit uncomfortable. But anyway, for that long period of time, it was not easy. It was not easy, but we enjoyed it as well. We also learned as a team, because we're a family, and people come from different areas, and we also I mean, I had to learn from them. I mean, the way they were shooting, because we had never being in that situation, and seeing like Kathy was always sometimes holding a big camera and also inspiring my team, especially the ladies. The ladies were also inspired by that lady, strong, hardworking lady. And some of the lazy ones were like, oh, you see, you need to be also hardworking, something like that. So it was also a lesson to my family.
I mean, there are so many amazing moments captured, very much getting behind the scenes of how you guys make your films, and how kind of involved the community is in doing that, and all the volunteers, the moments you've had, with this guy from New York, and the way you sort of bond but also clash, and some of the funny things that happen with him, like he had like a bit of a baptism fire when he falls in the sewer and things like that. What were some of your favorite moments in the making of the documentary?
I don't even remember, but for me, if you ask me, I think it is the night when we were, the night dancers or the cannibals were slaughtering that Muzungu. The way he used to, I think, yeah, everyone liked the way he was screaming, and it was like really. Sometimes you feel like, oh, is it real or something? The guys are very tough sometimes, but that moment, such moments, there are so many moments. I can't say only that, but there was a moment when I was shooting. And then the guy was rotating a motorcycle. In fact, he was not supposed to rotate it. So he was supposed to take it, and then he came back the second time, the second rotation. I was on his way, because for me, I thought he was going, so I had to follow him. So he just turned it, and then I had to jump. So it was automatic that I jumped, and it was like a film star, doing it. I don't know if it is in the documentary, but that was a moment I will never forget. When I've never got into such it would have been a brutal accident, because we did not communicate. I told him, you turn it and then go, but he turned it two times. But there are so many moments. I like also the moment when Alan was fighting the cannibals in the when they were surrounding him. I like that moment when he was fighting Bruce Yu. I like that moment because it looked also more realistic if I look at the movie itself, because I like it. I like that moment. And also the child when he was becoming a man and went, trigger, and then Alan came in with I remember him coming with a camera, and then he saw them, and then he took a photo. So for him, it's like any Muzungu would think that it's ambience, and then say, oh, I'm dancing, and then he danced. So he took a photo, and these guys, and then they started chasing him. So I like such moments, because they're a little bit comic, but they're also giving me like an imagination. What if it is real? What if it's real? And then you just come and then find these cannibals, doing their, whatever, and then you film them. You make a flash to them, and then they look at you all, and then they chase you all of a sudden. What should you do? I like that moment. I like such moments. There are so many moments in the movie.
And the thing that really jumps off the screen to me when I watch it, I think you mentioned at the beginning, is how inspirational it is. I mean, it's true that you can say, Hollywood, what Hollywood is, named after. It is so, it's about big budgets and it's about money, and you're there and you say, anything we don't have, we make it. We don't have the gun, or we don't have the right equipment, we weld it, and we're improvising all the time. And there's probably people all around the world that love cinema and love film and think, oh, that's not for me. And I guess you would obviously like to have more money, and hopefully one day you'll have your nice studio that you've been hankering after. But it is inspirational to people out there that just get on with it and just make it. And who knows what you might be able to achieve.
Yeah. I don't know if God wishes, but I believe that maybe the new generation will reach there. I believe so, but we are going to keep on improvising as much as possible, because also technology is also making things now easier, and also as we go into global village, things are also becoming a little bit cheaper. So I believe in the future we will have our target. If it might not be me, because this is like a journey. I mean, I am training now the new generation, which I believe will reach that place. I mean, the generation is also teaching another generation. So I'm happy to see that things are being passed from generation to generation. And I think that is the short term for the word education, because yes, we might go in classes and something, but we also had that education, which is passing knowledge from one generation to another. That is education. So we are educating because we did not get a chance when we were young to be supported by our parents. That's what I'm teaching now to the community, that please support your children. And it is very easy to support your child. Give her or him a chance. Give time to your children, so that you look at what their ability is. I've seen even ability of even adults, like Dauda, who is welding this, the head of that department. He came here, I did not know that he was going to be a welder or something like that. He was a film star in his mind. But I had to spot these abilities, and then he's doing it now. It is now becoming his, permanent job. He's now modifying cars in Kampala. So it is just a matter of looking at your children, spot them, and then, nurture their talent, and then professionalize their talents, and then woof, the world will be peaceful.
And maybe you could talk a little bit about kind of your inspirations and how you kind of bonded with Alan a bit over this, sort of the 80s, like Gonzo action films like Rambo and things like that. And then, you've got people saying you're a bit like, the Ugandan Tarantino. So what would you say your inspirations are, and how would you kind of like characterize the genre you sit within?
Yeah, unfortunately, when I was growing up, I did not get a chance of watching movies straight. But the way I used to watch them was a little bit different. Like Robert used to go and watch the movies, escaped, because we were not allowed as children. So he could go and watch the movies. He could come back and tell me the story. Yeah, he demonstrates, Wangi you, touching at them, something like that. And then you see the demonstration. So all that is in my imagination up to now. And, seeing Robert, telling me the stories. Yes, another way is also the way of watching the movie from outside the cinema hall. With a loudspeaker up the cinema hall and having a poster outside the cinema hall, and then you hear that movie with a VJ, narrating the movie, and then you understand the movie. Sometimes that's how we also watch the movies. And I was also admired by the poster. The guy who was drawing these posters used to call himself, I don't know if it was his name, but he used to write all over the Kampala, and he used to say, Dr. Zunga here, and he put an arrow here, and then you find it elsewhere, and that's he used to. But he was very good at painting. So he used to paint, like you could paint like Chuck Norris holding a gun and something like, and then you see that outside, and then you hear the movie. So you imagine what the movie is on, and then something like that. But that is how we are inspired by these names. I was never inspired by the producers, the directors, because I didn't hear about them. No one was talking about them. It was always the film star of the movie, like the Bruce Lee, Wang Yu, Jet Li, Bud Spencer, Roger Moore, then Schwarzeneggers and others, Chuck Norris. So these are the names we grew up. Sometimes we could even call ourselves those names. You could, say, I'm Bruce Lee, and then, I'm Bruce Lee, something like that, and then you feel it. You grew up with it, that you are a star. Like now, I hear some others call themselves Swaz. Swaz has been a very good, a big name here. If someone says, I'm Swaz, he says that he's deadly, he's powerful, something, that is what it means. Rambo. So such names, that's how we grew up, hearing the names and even admiring more of those names. So that is how we were inspired by them. But we were also inspired by the Kung Fu, because Kung Fu was much something new in the movies, especially when the Chinese, the Bruce Lee, became very famous here. So we grew up with the Bruce Lee's Kung Fu. And we got a chance in 1986. We found a magazine in one of the big markets in Kampala. So at the end of those magazines, there was Kung Fu movements. So we started teaching ourselves Kung Fu from the magazines. So now we are masters, because Robert is a master. He has taught many. And to prove that, when we went to Shaolin Temple, he demonstrated before the abbot. Abbot is the head of the temple. So he demonstrated before him a style called the Nanchuan. So when he demonstrated, the abbot was like, no, I did Nanchuan when I was young, but let me call someone else to prove it, because I got lost somewhere. And then he brought someone, and then the guy said, no, these are better than us, some of us here. So that is how we proved that we are better than even the Chinese. We taught ourselves from 1986, has been practicing it. He has taught many. So we were inspired by that Kung Fu. And it is the best way of making an action movie. It is using the hands, the body contact. It is very easy than going into guns, because guns are also sometimes forbidden here. Like the government will not want you to see with you. They don't want us to see with guns and something like that. Even the uniforms, it's not easy to work with them here on streets. I've been arrested several times. But with the Kung Fu, no one arrests you. It is not. You can do your whatever, and then you come up with a very good scene. But with guns, it is always a problem here. But we are trying. We always hide and then do. Or because we have it. We feel like it is us. It is our talent. We should not be stopped. We should not, however much. Anyway, there's nothing in this world without problems. Without, such problems. You always have to find a problem, but anyway you have to find a solution of solving it. Anyway, we keep on making these movies. Yes, we all, I would also say that we are, as children, we are not allowed, as I told you, to watch movies. So these parents were afraid of us getting addicted to movies, not going to school. And sometimes it's also the sex violence in the movies, whereby these movies were, I think, were not censored and they were here. So anytime you see a sex scene, and then even now, as I'm speaking, if I'm watching movies with my children, I need a remote with me, so always to skip the sex scenes, because it is not normal here in our culture. We don't have, sex scenes. We don't show sex scenes in public. So that is how we grew up, inspired by the names and also with the action of what we used to do. I remember Robert used to hold my feet and then flip me in the hair, like landing the back touch, back air. So he used to do that, and then so we were very fit by that time. We felt that we need to make a movie, and then in 1986 I told him that I can make a movie. And then he said, no, you don't have money. Where will you get the millions of dollars to make a movie? And then I said, where do you see that money? For me, it is just, people, punching. And then we're not punching. How much is a punch? How much is a kick? How much is a flip? So it was not money for me. But for him, he was older than me, and he was reading a lot, and he was seeing that we needed money. Yes, he won the war. The battle then. So we did not make a movie because we did not have cameras. But that's why we are trying to pull these boys and girls in the community, that if you have that talent of football, of what, do it. Let the parents give you that freedom. Nowadays, it is very easy. We can even make a movie with a phone. So it is, those days it wasn't. I wish I was in those days, in these days. I would have come out with many stories, many stories.
And you were sort of mentioning that, there has been some resistance, I guess, from within Uganda and from outside, saying, oh, well, why aren't you making films about, the political situation in Uganda or the poverty? But then it's true that it's like, well, if you look at Tarantino, if you look at the Coen brothers, if you look at the films coming out of Hollywood, out of the West, we're telling stories and there's humor there. And, it's all kind of part of making these different genres of films. So what do you say to people when they come to you with sort of comments like that?
Yeah, many people. I have a few comments on that. But I remember the first person to tell me that you make violence movies, and then I said, "What? You mean violence has started from my movies?" He said, "No, but you're inspiring violence." And then I said, "What movie? These guys during Jesus's time, what movie did they watch to punish Jesus in that brutal way? What movie did they watch?" And then he said, "No, by that time there were no movies." And then why were they so that brutal? If it is violence, then violence started sometimes back when even there were no movies in this world. So anyway, but people are misunderstanding art and violence. And that's why I'm teaching people to start spotting talents among their children. Because if politicians are in their right, we are real politicians, and if filmmakers are real filmmakers, footballers are real footballers, this world will be at peace. People will not even think of that way. But someone, coming and calling. I remember a lady called me from USA. And then say that, why do you make action violence movies? Why don't you make a movie about, maybe malaria? And then I told her that don't waste your time, madam. This is talent, and I feel like I'm in this line. If you want me to make a movie about malaria, can you finance it? Can you give me the budget? And then say, how much is the budget? And then I said, the Hollywood budget. They are open. They will tell you. The Hollywood budget. You send it to me, I will make you a malaria movie here, because I will hire cameramen, I will hire directors, I will hire everyone. The way they are doing it in Hollywood, as if you want that movie. But for me, this is my talent. It is very easy for me to take someone to punch, to block and everything. But it's not very easy for me to talk about malaria. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, and I sometimes tell these people, I'm not an educationist. I'm an entertainer. Because if you want me to educate to educate you, how can I educate a person with a PhD? I mean, you go to the Ministry of Education if you want to. I mean to be educated. Otherwise, for me, I'm making movies for these people who are overstressed, like a doctor who is overstressed, and then he has come home, and then he want something to quench that stress he has, and then he watches my movie and is laughing. His memory come back. But how can I teach him about what he studied about malaria? I don't know. I don't know about malaria. I'm not a doctor. So there's such people are misunderstanding the art and other stuff. They don't know that we are not under Ministry of Education. We are under Ministry of Entertainment, if it is there. I mean, we are supposed to be under entertainment than education. Otherwise, we can audio educate, but we are not. There's a ministry. I think every country has got a ministry which is concerned with education. So, and I don't think it is that ministry which is concerned with the film. Otherwise, yes, there are some educational films, but with a specialist, writing the scripts, and a lot of research has got to be done there. So for me, I'm entertaining people, and don't expect a lot. Don't expect a lot of education from me. No, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a professor in that.
How has it felt to see the amazing response to the film, from Toronto, and obviously now it's getting, going to be in cinemas here in the UK, and what has happened since? Are you hoping to see Hollywood, completely explode, and almost all this international attention can only be a good thing?
Yeah, it is. I don't know how to express the joy I got when I got calls from all over the world. I mean, before even visiting places, but getting a call from all over the world. I mean, it is amazing, and it is. I think the dream of every filmmaker. You make a movie for people to watch. I remember when I won the Best Audience Award in Texas. I remember that time. It was I think 2015 with the movie Crazy. Is it Bad Black or Crazy White? I don't remember the movie. But when we won that, when I won that award, because I won 2 awards: Best Action Director and Audience Award. For me, it is the best. The best is Audience Award because I make movies for the audience. And I saw these people because I didn't go there. I was on Skype and then people were so happy to talk to me. I remember one word. Someone said, "Now I know Uganda because of Hollywood." I liked that. I like that because people know Uganda because of Idi Amin. And now they know Uganda because of that. I've seen people coming from all over the world and then visit me, and then they go back to Entebbe, and then they fly. They don't even go to the source of River Nile, they don't go elsewhere, but they come here. That is something. That is something amazing to see that with a storytelling, and then you change everything. I wish I get to tell more stories about Uganda, and if you get that chance, and I tell exactly where our stories should be told, because people have been telling our stories, but I feel like no, they did not tell them well. But anyway, I'm so happy. Going, like when I was in Toronto, the standing ovation of like 10 minutes, and people were crazy. I've never seen that experience, but I saw it anyway. Now I saw it. I was in France. I remember when I was in France at Palais de Tokyo. There were questions and people were asking questions. When I started talking, they started coming, and they thought I was not even able to talk. I don't know. I was like, oh, these people don't think that I can talk. Anyway, I like those moments because this is representing art. We are representing art. We are not representing anything. We are not politicians. We are not what, but at least as artists to be seen, to open up, to reach and communicate with the whole world. It is something. I was recent in Documenta 15 in German, Kassel. The way people were coming, I remember one of the workshops, I had like 3 professors sitting and they were listening to me, and they cooperated, and then we did a lot of stuff with them. You know, there are so many things which I've seen. I've seen when I was walking in the streets of Kassel, I reached a time when I could not even walk. I mean, people were always, whenever I get out, and then well, hey. So I have seen it, and it has opened a lot. It has changed a lot of my life. Like, I have many friends all over the world, from all over the world. So, and I always thank them that they are supporting now. They're supporting me with my Patreon. It is called Wakalud Patreon. They are supporting. They are not supporting me. They are supporting, I mean, the community, because we have stable internet. We have electricity every day, and these children are learning. So they are supporting. I mean, even some of them are getting school fees from there. So I'm humbled that these guys are, I mean, my fan base is helpful. That they know they are helping me, my dreams to become more real than ever.
Well, thank you so much. I've gone over my time, but I cannot wait for everyone else here in the UK to see Once Upon a Time in Uganda, and of course, discover your work, discover Wakaliwood, and best of luck with all the future stuff. Hopefully I can come visit one day.
Thank you. Thank you.
So nice to chat to you. Thanks, Isaac. Bye.
Thank you too.